Hello, I am Toxic Pyro, your host for this evening. Welcome to the ESIS Project, or Every Series in Smash. This is a series where I play and take a look at one game from every franchise of a fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This has been a major project, and I'm very excited to finally show it. Right now, you're watching the playlist where we go through each series added by the game that were added in, 64, Melee, Brawl, etc. At the end of all the videos being released, there will be a supercut of the full thing. I decided to split it up like this because while I may be stubborn about wanting the full experience, I know a lot of other people like watching it in chunks, so if you want to watch the full thing, you can watch the supercut the way it was meant to be viewed, or if you want to take it bit by bit, then that's what the playlist is for. And also, of how long I've spent making this, I can't exactly have it bomb, so having the split uploads is a good compromise. I've been working on this project on and off for around 3 years now, putting countless amounts of work into it, and I am very proud of what I have made here. But that's enough of me. This has been the making for long enough. On with the show. Mario, the king of video games. The game that saved the video game industry in North America, at least. Which one do you even choose? Mario 1, Mario 64, Galaxy, Odyssey, Mario Land 2, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario Golf, Mario Strikers? There's a lot of Mario games, and there's usually a high chance that you'll have a great time, but I decided to go with the game that has pretty much the textbook standard for a great game. Super Mario World. Mario World is like a really good flash game that we play on cool math games and indoor recess while it was raining and have an awesome time. You know the ones I'm talking about. It's so simple because it's Mario, but it has all the hallmarks of what makes a really good platformer, a really good game in general. Responsive and great feeling controls, mechanics that introduce themselves in simple ways and gradually build upon themselves more and more, while at the same time always introducing new mechanics, tons of secrets and collectibles, an absolutely timeless art style, a secret area with hard levels for those that really want to test their skills, and the devs are free to make some absolutely horrific challenges, an area with just the right amount of bullshit that makes people go, what the fuck, and then get all, oh my fucking, you gotta be kidding me. It was the first game to have Yoshi who they wanted to put in for a long time, but just couldn't do it due to technical limitations, and it was worth it because Yoshi is sick. And generally just about everything you can imagine for a great game. It should be required playing for any video game playing individual because it's the benchmark for what a great game should be. Like, take any game, or even a game you're making, and ask yourself, is it equal or better than Mario World? If the answer is yes, then you have a great game. If the answer is no, then it's most likely just average. Still good, mind you, unless it's not, but you know what? You can still have fun with it. People get so excited about the latest games and the latest hardware and the latest awesome thing, and for what? So you can play the most boring big budget game ever? People just latch onto popular things because they have nothing else to do, and when they aren't having that much fun with it anymore, they don't know what to do. Because they put so much time and effort into it and they don't have anything else to jump to, they don't want to cut their losses and say it's not for me anymore when they've lost all passion for it. I think anyone that still plays Overwatch has some bigger overall problems. Like, dude, chill out. Play some Mario World. You'll have a good time. Creators a lot of the time have big ideas about this is gonna be the best thing ever and then get overwhelmed because they're inexperienced. You can't just start making Red Dead Redemption 2 out the gate. You don't even need to make a Red Dead 2 at all. You can start with something like Flappy Bird and then work your way up to a Tetris 2 and then try making a Mario World. And it's gonna suck every step of the way, making something that you don't think is the best, but if you keep going, you will eventually make something that you can be genuinely proud of. And who cares if it doesn't do crazy well or if it has some problems? The only person that has to like it is you, and anyone else that enjoys it is a bonus, so you can have something, look at it, and say that you created it with your own two hands. You're the creator, and you're gonna make what you want to make because it's important to you. Imagine being the guys who made Mario World. You got a new competitor after pretty much going uncontested as the best for like half a decade, and you know, you're not just gonna sit there and let yourself be dethroned without at least trying to fight, and boom, you make a super powerful system for its time, and make a game that's a culmination of all your past works, and it's loaded with so much heart, and it's awesome. And you kick that blue rat down the stairs. That could be you. You could kick that blue rat down the stairs. Or you could be the blue rat, but people still love that blue rat, don't they? Or, you know, maybe the spotlight just isn't gonna happen for someone like you, or you don't want the spotlight, and that's fine. Maybe you're the guy that built the stairs that the blue rat got kicked down, an important part of the equation, but overlooked. And you know, that's fine, because it was a great flight of stairs, really helped sell the impact and the pain of the blue rat when he was falling down them, and you can be proud of your work. Maybe you only created one step of the flight of stairs, and you feel underappreciated that you only did one step and not the whole flight, but you can't just have that one step be missing, then the staircase doesn't work, it's broken, you had a vital part in creating it. And when you move away from that flight of stairs and go back home, you can turn on Super Mario World and have fun enjoying yourself, because you earned it. And also the GBA remake is awesome too. People sleep on this one, but in some ways it could be argued that it's better than the original. It comes packed in with the remake of the original Mario Bros. Arcade game, and it's the best version of that game. 4 stars. Also, yeah, I'll be ranking every game from 1 to 5 stars. I was gonna do a tier list ranking them, but then I realized that was, you know, just a teeny weeny fucking stupid. Stars it is. You know, we're kinda in an awkward position right now because we just started, but the next game up is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and, you know, a lot of the games for this video I had to deliberately play for this video. Not all of them, but a lot. But Donkey Kong, I played this game like 4 times, getting footage for this was a breeze. I first played this game when it came out on my Wii U. Yeah, I was one of those kids. Actually, not even kids, I was that kid. Singular. The one kid with a Wii U. I 100% of it. It's Donkey Kong. It's fun. I could go and get all the collectibles and whatever again, but I don't need to. I'm having a blast blazing my way through Donkey Kong Land. Every level just has this flow to it. You're jumping and weaving through all the obstacles and you see a tiny little detail that looks like it's a secret, and guess what? It is. I probably would have gotten 80% of the collectibles if I didn't stop myself. You got 1 companion, Dixie Kong, and 2 power downs in the form of Diddy and Cranky Kong, and they're both power downs in the fact that they aren't Dixie Kong. Hey gang, this boss, am I right? That's a joke that only Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze players would get. I bet everyone part of the haven't played Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze Rebellion is feeling pretty dumb right now. There was this one door in one of the levels in World 2, and as a kid I always swore that there was a way to get in there. I mean, look at it, it looks so enterable. I probably spent hours trying to get in here. Well, it was actually probably like 10 minutes tops. When you're 8, that feels like hours. You know, I'm sure someone watching this is like 25 or something. I was 8 when this came out. That's crazy, right? You know, I'm with you. The fact that there's people younger than me is crazy. I'm sorry if it feels like I'm not talking about the game that much, but it's just insane to think about how there's people that haven't played this game. It's just like that ingrained into me. It's like when you go to a third world country and you're on the bus and you see people and you're like, wow, poor people exist and are the same as us. Donkey Kong really gets the brain churning, I swear. This was probably my first hard game, getting my ass kicked by those K levels. This game is just beautiful, man. It makes me feel like I'm in the Donkey Kong world, and the soundtrack is like, god damn, David Wise got possessed by Mozart to write these tracks for the game where he plays an ape. Everything just feels so alive, it's just great. Hey, Adam, real life friend, Adam. Why do you not like this game? This is a public call out to Adam. You should all bully Adam in the comments for not liking this game. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't even know what to say beyond this. The game just rocks, and then they ported it as a Switch of this new funky mode vomit, and it's such a boring addition. They really push it too. They even put a reversible cover on the Switch physical version for like no reason. You get to play as Funky Kong, but he's basically just baby easy mode. It's not even fun. How do you make Funky Kong not fun? Fun is literally part of his name. And then they never put this game on sale ever. Crazy how Tropical Freeze is basically the poster child for Switch tax online, and it should be like 20 bucks right now. It should have retailed at 40 at launch also. I wonder how much this price holding shit is gonna affect Nintendo in the long run, you know, if the economic collapse and equity inequality in the US and the rest of the world. Like all that, I'm watching the news and I'm just thinking, man, what's Nintendo's next step in all this? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Donkey Kong. I've played this game 5 times now, and I'll probably be playing it 5 more times someday. This should be required playing for anyone that wants to make a 2D platformer. 5 stars. Oh, banana. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Where do I even begin? No, literally. How do you talk about Ocarina of Time? It's one of the most discussed video games of all time. My 3 go-to games that I say are done to death in the YouTube gaming review space are always Sonic 06, Mario 64, and Ocarina of Time. What possible takeaway could I have on Ocarina of Time that has not been done 1,000 times over? We'll see, but first off, you might notice I'm playing the 3DS remake. This seems normal, but what if I told you that 3DS capture cards could be classified as an endangered species? There are so few 3DS capture cards that are still in production now. Pretty much as soon as the Switch came out, all of these things stopped getting made. The very few that are still offering it, you basically have to mail your 3DS to one dude who will then custom mod your system to work with OBS. Needless to say, it's very hard and expensive to get one of those few precious slots, and if you want to buy secondhand, get ready to shell out nearly $1,000 fucking dollars. That's so fucked up. So, what I did instead is that I hacked my 3DS to dump my games onto 3DS emulator Citra so I can play and capture footage there. Listen, PC has so many great features that consoles lack, and I am forever grateful for the PC gaming community for their endless amounts of contributions to game preservation, user freedom, customer-friendly alternatives, and overall just more games than any console can possibly offer. But I swear to fuck that actually playing on a PC has been a nightmare more times than I can count. So many folders and guides are needed just to even get the game to work, and I'm playing on a laptop, so sometimes the games still don't run well. Don't even think about transferring your save data from your 3DS to Citra. It can't be done. It's impossible for mortal minds to comprehend. People that actually put up with this shit on a regular basis should be given medals of honor for their service, because this is bullshit. When I finally got the game to work, it ran fine mostly, but I wasn't able to map gyro control, so the aiming is lame, and the buttons locked up sometimes, but it was fine. In Ocarina of Time, you play as Link, who has to go on a quest to stop the evil Ganondorf from causing a ruckus. The plot of Ocarina has been spoiled so much, I don't even think it's considered a spoiler. I knew that Sheik was a girl before I knew Marth was a guy. And that's a little unfortunate. Like, not for Ocarina of Time, but if I could play Majora's Mask blind without knowing literally everything there is to possibly know about that game, that would be the shit. The whole hullabaloo about this game is because if you go to Metacritic and look at the highest rated games, Ocarina is sitting right there at the prestigious 100 out of 100 at the #1 spot. There's a few reasons for this, and none of them are because the game's quality has really stood the test of time. It's because A, Metacritic only goes back to the PS1/N64 era, so older games that are similarly highly regarded and would probably have perfect scores aren't counted, and B, because it was 3D, and game critics were and always have been stupid, so to them a game had to be 3D or else it was old and smelled bad. Even though the N64 had been out for 2 years and the PlayStation out for 4, the game critics were still going crazy over it. And you know, maybe they were right. The game is still good. It's fun. The story is cool, the characters are really interesting, there's so many side quests and little details for the NPC characters that make you smile, like, aw, the couple is still dancing even after the apocalypse. The Forest Temple theme sounds all weird, like they just asked some guy to make some random noises. And honestly, I'm jealous of him. I would love to make some mouth noises and put them in a game so random people gotta listen to them for the next 30+ years. That sounds awesome. It was really the first big 3D open world game that actually lived up to the hype. It changed the entire Zelda series going forward, including the timeline by separating it into 3 timelines depending on the ending of Ocarina. It's a really good incentive to not die because congrats, dumbass, you just caused Zelda 2! It's not perfect by any means, and calling it the greatest game of all time is just a really unfair label to put on it. I mean, it wasn't even the greatest game of all time when it first came out. Symphony of the Night already came out a year earlier. Anyone will tell you that the water temple sucks and the Z targeting doesn't work half the time and the owl goes all do 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 do, and you gotta look up the guide for the fire temple like 12 times, and Link gets stuck on random collision, and you have 300,000 people online complaining about him on internet forums trying to be contrarian for any attention. And you know what? I don't think you would do any better. You try making a Zelda game in 1998 for a shitty console and you gotta work in a Japanese office and you don't speak Japanese, so everyone's just looking at you funny. You would crack. The real reason no other game has gotten the perfect 100 and why I don't think a single one will ever reach it again is because gaming is just too big now. People are like, oh man, I really hope Blumbo Interactive's next game really recaptures the magic. Shut up. Ocarina of Time wasn't trying to recapture the magic, it was making the magic for the first time. It's what Zelda's all about, forging it with Link's green stubby hands. Ocarina of Time is a perfectly fine game, it's fun. Should you play it? I mean, if you want to. Just don't act like you're gonna get the greatest game of all time and just expect like a 7 to 8 out of 10, and then you can put it on your game shelf just to have people know that you played Ocarina and you're not a fake gamer. Just do that. It's been outclassed by a bunch of other Zeldas, Link Between Worlds, Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild. Just go and play video games. 4 out of 5 stars. Metroid was actually a really tricky series to choose which game to pick. While I love Metroidvanias because of games like Axiom Verge, Hollow Knight, and other indie examples, I was never that big on actual Metroid games. But I think that's just because no Metroid games ever came out around my childhood. I was originally gonna go with Samus Returns on 3DS, and I thought maybe Super Metroid, and then I thought maybe one of the Prime games, and I thought maybe Metroid Zero Mission, and I thought maybe Metroid Blast and Nintendo Land. But in the end, the choice soon revealed itself to me. Metroid Dread. This game is so fucking good. I love Metroidvanias, and one of the main reasons for that is because of how good they're able to take the mechanics and just use them for all they're worth. You have this map, and you're able to polish every single part of it to perfection, from layout-wise, but also having incredible levels of detail. If you want 100%, you're gonna learn this game inside and out. And as the series that invented the genre, Dread delivers. I've played a lot of Metroidvanias, and while these games are super good, they have so much love put into their sprite art and so much care from their small development teams. It is so nice to play a game like this that has an actual budget. The planet of ZDR manages to look spectacular, using its 2D plane to its advantage by foreshadowing events by keeping them in the background where you can miss them by how little they shove them into your face. I think the most impressive part of this game is that it just feels like the series never left. It's been 19 years since Fusion, yet it picks up like it never missed a beat. No making Samus talk, no reviving Ridley for the 37th time, no weird tone-deaf spin-off. It's just back in full force like the past 15 years never even happened. The fact that they stuck to their guns is just so incredible to see with how this company has treated this franchise for so long. Like, okay, seriously. No Ridley fight. Imagine how easy it would have been to just revive Ridley again. Everyone would have expected it. No one would have even batted an eye. It probably would have made a lot of people happy to see an epic cinematic Ridley showdown in HD. It would have been so easy. But the fact that Mercury Steam went out of their way to make an original, badass villain and made easily one of my top 10 favorite final boss fights ever, I just can't not respect a decision so ballsy that paid off so well. But then also having new ideas that work so well. Okay, you wanna know something about me? I do not like robots. They scare the fuck out of me, especially when you give them weapons. This is a machine that is specifically designed to kill that can be very easily hacked to do mass amounts of damage in a very short amount of time. And unlike zombies or vampires or whatever, robots are real. Or at least will be real. And that terrifies me. So these E.M.M.Is hit me a little bit harder. Why did they make the robots so scary? These things are terrifying. The sprawling nature of these densely populated areas is juxtaposed against the E.M.M.I zone's dreary atmosphere of not a single speck of organic life. Dread at the beginning makes you feel powerless. You're stranded deep underground on a planet in ruins with all your equipment and powers gone. But every single item slightly pushes the scales in your favor. Every new ability gives you a new option, a new way to survive, a new way to thrive, and you are going to earn your way back to the top of the food chain because your name is Samus fucking Aran. Metroid is back! 5 stars. Yoshi's fucking island. Yoshi is hanging out with all his Yoshi dudes when that bastard Kamek comes in and non-fatally dismembers all of his friends. Yoshi goes to save them, and after each one he says, "You owe me one." Yoshi's Woolly World is like NyQuil the video game. Playing this game made me want to go to sleep like 5 times. One could say this is because the game's beautiful graphics and soundtrack make the game seem like a lullaby, but it is also because the gameplay is very slow and easy. The only reason I didn't fall asleep is because of the copious amounts of dust on my Wii U gamepad that kept making me sneeze. Like I'm not even playing the game right now, I'm just thinking about it. I'm recording audio, and it's still making me want to fucking take a nap. The level design is fine, there's a lot of costumes you can unlock through the game, and also amiibos. It's very charming, but it also makes me kind of not really want to criticize the game. I mean, it's Yoshi, dude. He's a green dinosaur that eats colorful creatures and turns them into eggs. He's literally more kid-friendly than Kirby. Kirby fights a demon or two every game. Yoshi just sits there and says, Yoshi, every once in a while. You really want to hear me complain that this game wasn't intellectually stimulating enough for me? Of course not. It's made for actual babies and man-children. I know it's kinda hypocritical for me to dismiss a game as being for babies when I'm talking about Nintendo games, but like, this is a step above. Yoshi is a lovable little dude. I've just never been a big fan of his games. He's cool in Mario Party. I don't really like him in Ultimate, but come on, he's a funny dude. Yoshi's Island on the SNES is like a masterpiece or something. I'll take their word for it. I don't hate Woolly World, I'm just not in its demographic. The game's perfectly fine. I just want to make that clear. It's fine. It's actually one of the better Yoshi games because this thing exists. I just don't care that much. I played it in 2016 and liked it enough. I never beat it, but that's just how it be sometimes. And judging by the script I wrote in 2019, I apparently never had anything that crazy to say about this game. 3 stars. It's fine. Kirby is a funny little circle. Everyone loves Kirby. Kirby Superstar is a game where Kirby went from, yes, pretty good to, ooh, that's a good game. Spring Breeze, where you make up Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy. Dynablade, where Kirby fights a bird. Gourmet Race, where Kirby races King Dedede in 3 obstacle courses while having a moment from how fucking good this song is, oh my god. The Great Cave Offensive, which is a big Metroidvania style map where you go and collect treasure. Meta Knight's Revenge, where you fight Meta Knight while jamming out to a composer just having the time of their life. And Milky Way, which is where Kirby fights Marks. All of these modes have slightly different gameplay differences that make them unique, but they also have presentation. Spring Breeze is treated as a fun, happy Kirby adventure. Dynablade is pretty much the same until it gets serious when you fight Dynablade herself. Great Cave Offensive is an Indiana Jones style adventure, and Meta Knight's Revenge is this action-packed rush to victory with the staff relaying the damage of your attacks in real time, and the composer's just going off. Johnny Ishikawa, you don't need to go this raw. This is a game about a circle. In 10 years, you'll understand. Superstar was the beginning of real Kirby games. It's got all the copy abilities that became series staples, and it has this strange tone where it looks goofy and is goofy, but it knows when to get serious so that you can recognize that Kirby is a menace. Is it the best Kirby game? No, that's Robobot. I wanted to play Robobot, but it ran like this. But it is the most important Kirby game. It's just a classic. It's got so much creativity, passion, a soundtrack to rock the heavens, and was the last mainline Kirby game directed by Sakurai himself. He still worked on a few after, but they were either him not touching the game and just voicing Dedede, or remakes, or he was just labeled as a special advisor, where I assume he just makes sure Kirby is in the right shape or something. He did do Kirby Air Ride, but after that he was done, and what a way to go out. Superstar is a true good video game. You're never gonna not enjoy it. It's packed with so much content because they loved making it and they wanted you to enjoy playing it. Why else would they put in dueling minigames and Megaton Punch other than for you to have fun? 4.5 stars. Yeah! Star Fox, a series that's been on life support for the past forever. Being a smash hit on the SNES and N64 and then kinda not knowing what to do for the next bit before deciding just not to make games anymore. Until 2016 when this absolute mess of a console was in dire need of a Star Fox game. So a tech demo was made and Platinum Games later took the helm of development and made a decent little Star Fox game with one massive elephant in the room. If you've ever heard of Star Fox Zero, you probably know it for one thing: the controls. They are awful. Borderline unusable. On your TV, you have a normal view for a Star Fox game, but on the bottom screen, you see not only your worst fear, you see the cockpit view and fucking gyro aiming to shoot at enemies. That reticle on the TV, that's not gonna cut it. You need to use the gyro to get an actual shot. This is not an optional control scheme. This is required, and it is so fucking gimmicky. This doesn't feel like a video game. I feel like I'm at an amusement park and I just spent way too much money on some novelty ride that goes on for 5 minutes. Okay, now I will say, I do think I was missing something when I played this game at launch, because when I played the game at that time, I played it in my living room on a TV very far away. This is how a lot of people play video games, especially on the Wii and Wii U, because of all the, oh, make sure you have plenty of space, motion control stuff. Now this time I played it in my room, on a TV, on my desk, and it was much closer this time. I was much closer to the screen. This felt a lot better. Not perfect, it's still clunky, but a lot more playable. If this game was on the 3DS, it probably would have been liked a lot more. Star Fox 64 3D is already on there and it works just fine. Star Fox Command was on the original DS and that worked fine too. It's just you put this on a device where the two screens aren't connected and have the opportunity to be meters apart from each other. It's gonna feel like a chore. You gotta move your head so much it feels tiring. Eventually you're just gonna stop bothering with the two screens and primarily stick to one. Some of my favorite games on the Wii, hell, some of my favorite games of all time have this gimmick control stuff as an option, but only that, an option. also having support for traditional controls. Star Fox Zero not having this is shooting itself in the wing, because even if you're very experienced, it still hurts to fly. And it tries to act all cute by having the voices come out of the gamepad. It's what I would expect out of a launch title. If this came out at launch, or even a year into the Wii U's life, it would have made a cool experience. But it didn't come out at launch, it came out in 2016. Less than a year later, the console was dead. Nobody wants a tech demo for what your system could do when people already know what it could do, and they don't care. Star Fox Zero is a test of endurance more than anything. Playing it is exhausting, and it just drains the life out of you. And you know, the most insulting part is that the game here is fine. The graphics are great, the level design is fantastic when it's not shoving gimmicks in your face, the soundtrack is good, and at times, it does capture that feeling of being in an epic space battle. If you could play it with a normal controller, it probably would have reviewed well, sold decently. Would it have been as good as Star Fox 64? Probably not, and it doesn't push the series in a new direction to at least be interesting like Star Fox Adventures or Assault, but it would have been a pretty good success and possibly ignite interest in more Star Fox games. But no, we're stuck with this garbage. You can't just take a good game and make it worse by creating a problem in it and selling me a solution in the same game. You need to make an original game like the actual Wii U launch titles did. And like Star Fox Guard did. It's a charming little tower defense game that was bundled in with Zero at launch, and it actually gives me a positive impression of the Wii U, even if it gets repetitive after 10 minutes. Star Fox Zero gets 1.5 stars, just go sit down. Pokémon is a series that I have completely fallen off with. I liked it when I was 10, and then I grew out of it. Oops. And I don't mean this in an, oh, I'm so mature, I don't even want to play baby games like Pokemon. No, I just mean I actually lost all interest. My first game was X and Y, and I loved that, and then I played Omega Ruby and I loved that even more. And then Sun and Moon, and fun fact, my copy was actually glitching the fuck out, and it took 3 minutes to load the inside of a house, so of course I didn't like it. Skipped Ultra Sun, but I did play Let's Go, and was filled with an overwhelming sense of boredom. I stopped after the 4th gym. Skipped Gen 8 because there was a massive load of complaints surrounding Sword and Shield, and I also just didn't feel like getting burned for a 3rd time in a row. Maybe I'll try Gen 9 since those trailers for it actually seem pretty good, I don't know yet, but for this video I played Omega Ruby again, or at least tried to. I loved this game when I was 9 or 10, I beat it like 4 times, I had a lot of fun with it, just whenever I started playing it for footage, I was just hit with an overwhelming feeling of, man, this is boring. I think a big reason for this is because I'm not playing it on a 3DS system where it's portable and can play it wherever you have some free time. I'm playing it in my room, alone. The environment you're playing a game in absolutely changes the mood, and that's something emulation can't always fix. I wish the new Pokemon games would be good again. I'm happy for people that can still enjoy Pokemon. All the power to you for enjoying a series like it'd be stupid for me to say that you can't enjoy Pokemon. It's a good game, but it's lost its magic for me. I do still love many things about Pokemon. The designs I can always respect. Here's my favorite Pokemon of each type. I like all these little dudes. I like all the little secrets that are in these games that serve absolutely no purpose, like, do you guys remember this? Why the fuck did they put this ghost girl in X and Y and not follow it up anywhere in the game besides to fuck with some kids? That's awesome. I like how Generation 1 is weird and fucked up in like every way. I like the glitches you can do. I like the little fan lore about Blue's Raticate and Lavender Town killing people. It's fun. I like the idea of Nuzlocke. I like the idea of shiny Pokemon. I shiny hunted for a couple Pokemon back in the day. I don't have them now, but I had a shiny Corsola and a shiny Japanese Rapidash I got over Wonder Trade. That was cool. I had more, but I don't remember what they were. I like how the Pokedex is just completely insane in a world where all these things were factual, would explode itself in under a minute. The 1 billion lines would beat the Pokemon, by the way. I like Jesse and James in the show, they're funny. I just really don't like this. This is just a mood killer for me. It also doesn't help that the game's plot is basically global warming and it keeps making me sad. I don't know if Pokemon's for me anymore. I don't know, man. I don't hate you, Pokemon, but we just need some space. 4 stars. I hope to enjoy you again one day. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's me. Perhaps it is us both. Withered Bonnie said that in fucking Five Nights at Freddy's. The Mother series is up next, a series of RPGs directed by Shigesato Itoi. This section was originally going to be for Earthbound, but after playing it, it's just not aged the best, at least the beginning portions. Many of its aspects it pioneered are now staples of the RPG genre, but it has so many annoying decisions. The enemies are annoying to fight, the inventory system is awful for the early game, the revive system sucks, and by the 5th time dealing with these enemies that mess up your controls in the overworld, I was just done. I respect the hell out of it, but we're trying out Mother 3 instead. On an emulator, because it's never gonna get officially localized. Now, originally, this was gonna be a really short section, but my friend Ethan, who loves Mother 3, put up a wager. If I beat Mother 3, he would watch every episode of Scott the Woz. It took me a really long time, but I did fulfill my end of the bargain, and I think the video as a whole is better for it, so this section is in honor of Ethan. Let us begin. Mother 3 and Earthbound are very important games. Earthbound is always a franchise that is name-dropped, but I don't think people really understand how influential it really is. I mean, I certainly forgot. Mother 3 was absolutely ahead of its time, but it's also behind the times in ways that are just painful to watch it slip on. Mother 3's art style still holds up today, so much that if it was in 16:9, it could be released today by some indie developer and nobody would bat an eye. I don't know if that's just because indie retro art style trends, but the game still looks really pleasing. The characters are funny to talk to. This is one of the few games I can say I've laughed out loud from just reading text. And most of the other games I can say that about were inspired by this series. The story is much darker than you would anticipate from the little Mother 3 references they put in Smash, but that's absolutely not a bad thing. If anything, I think it made the darker moments hit that much more. Mother 3 knows how to play its hand correctly to get me from laughing to almost crying in a matter of minutes. Exploring themes of lost loved ones, capitalism, exploitation of labor, greed, artificial happiness, animal abuse, and more. It's sad, but it's not just throwing out themes for the sake of it, it's genuine. And the fact that I gotta go and download an emulator and a fan translation patch kind of weirdly adds to this game. Like I'm playing the story that Nintendo wants to forget about. That's not exactly true, obviously, but it can feel like it. It's interesting to look at the differences from Earthbound to Mother 3, where in Earthbound the game is very happy-go-lucky and then Gygas shows up at the very end, while Mother 3 it stays happy but the messed up world keeps butting in. Like you keep trying to see the bright side of things, but it keeps getting worse and worse. Any game that can go from a bad drug trip or hallucinations of your friends and family tell you how much you've ruined their lives to is a master of its craft. The combat uses a mechanic known as the rolling number system, where if you get hit for say 100 damage and you die, it isn't subtracted immediately, but instead your health starts rolling down, and if you manage to heal or end the fight in that time before your health reaches 0, then you're still alive. All the battle animations for attacks and magic are now very thought through design decisions about how much time something should take while you're scrambling to save your healer. The enemies are silly, but they can wreck your shit, ranging from crows and ants to depression and abominations against nature. The bosses are some of the toughest turn-based fights I've done in my limited experience in RPGs. All of this makes me understand why a lot of people do have this as one of their favorite games of all time, and I can absolutely respect that, but at the same time, there's just these tiny but frustrating problems that make me want to bang my head against the wall. It's shit like not giving me back my items after I die or being locked into points of no return without being told. All of this is just annoying enough to make me scream. This volcano part after Saturn Village where you can't go back and there's no hot spring to refill my health and I saved here, I'm pretty much forced to die and lose my 2 revive items that automatically activate that I can never get back. I was so frustrated with this I almost dropped the game entirely. The only reason I didn't is because I cheated. That's right, this is the only game in the series that I used bona fide hacks to beat. Nothing crazy, just setting my level high, first level 40 and then at level 65. Am I proud of it? No, but I will say it made the rest of the game a lot more fun. The game almost forces you to grind, and I'm glad I'm playing with the option to fast forward. It's just discouraging and sometimes feels like the game is expecting you to know things ahead of time. I can imagine someone just getting frustrated and quitting after the first few chapters. I mean, of course I can imagine it, it's what I did to Earthbound. I think just the saddest part of all this is that all of these problems could fade away with just the smallest of re-release touch-ups. It's basically so close to perfection that it hurts. And then it hurts even more when you realize that it probably won't ever get re-released. It's been a meme for 15 years, I think it's safe to assume that the ship has sailed. Blame Reggie all you want, the cries won't stop him. I think the only possible way it could ever happen is if it gets a remake, probably alongside the other 2 Mother games, but the chances of that happening are very, very low. It hurts a lot, but maybe it adds to its legacy. Like, think about it, if it was released in 2006 on the GBA, it probably would have gone under the radar with the only major notoriety being Lucas and Smash. And while that's still true in our timeline, I imagine the number of people that have played Mother 3 through emulation is way more than it possibly could have gotten on the GBA, even with that system's massive sales numbers. Mother 3 is probably the most powerful example of video game preservation doing its job right, giving games that got shafted a new audience for generations to come. Earthbound is almost video game royalty at this point, with its influence touching almost every RPG today in some form, even if it's just skipping enemy encounters if your level is high enough. It's too important to not play. And that ending, no spoilers, but like, ooh, okay, yeah, I was close to crying, I really was. One final thing I would like to say. The soundtrack of this game has been ingrained in me from Smash Bros. Brawl. These remixes are truly iconic and always somewhere lodged in my brain, and it made me a very certain kind of happy to finally hear the original versions after all this time. Four stars! Shoutouts to Ethan. Captain Falcon, the Smash Bros. Character. The character who has one of the most iconic moves in fighting game history, the Falcon Punch. Unfortunately, Captain Falcon's home series hasn't been treated so well. We'll be playing what is considered the peak of the series, because there hasn't been a true game since. F-Zero GX. I would like to apologize real quick before we start, because the footage here might be a bit choppy because my computer is a potato and cannot run F-Zero GX at a normal, steady frame rate. It will go down to sometimes 30 when it should be at 60 and maybe sometimes 20. If it looks bad, I can assure you it sounds even worse. F-Zero GX is one of the best racing games of all time. The racing game scene has pretty much been rendered to Mario Kart and the occasional Forza game, but this is something completely of its own. This game is so fast, holy shit. This game was made to fully utilize the power of the GameCube, and you can really feel it. The tracks are beautiful, 30 racers on screen at once, zooming by at speeds that make 200cc in Mario Kart look like a joke.
You fucking bitch!
Oh, the tracks. You got these casino tracks like double branches with these split paths and crazy jumps. Port Towns tracks like Long Pipe, this one long tube where you're encouraged to use your boost and throw all caution to the wind. Firefield, this one long cylinder with anti-gravity and one wrong move and you're dead. Lightning Half Pipe where you gotta do your best to keep yourself from flying off the edge. Outer Space Meteor Storm where everything is so cramped together, these tracks are a work of art. Did you know that Big Blue is called Big Blue because it's an ocean planet? Because I just figured that out. The boost mechanic is genius. Your boost doubles as your health, so if you want to catch up, you also gotta play extremely safe so you don't crash into a wall or something bumps into you and it's back to the start. There's no Lakitu to save you in this game, you're just dead, bro. The story mode is notoriously difficult and yup, it is. There's a lot of love packed into everything here. The characters even get a lot more room to express themselves with interviews after winning a Grand Prix and these ending movies for each character, and for some reason a lot of them involve a laundromat. The Skull, this racing legend who died 1,000 years ago but came back just to race for eternity, and of course he has a Skeletor voice.
Congratulations on your stunning victory.
I'm not even tired!
Spade, this magic puppet whose real body is the little orb and the rest is just an illusion, and also he's a great dad.
Can you tell us what's important to you?
My 3-year-old son. He's starting to look just like me.
I see.
And Leon, a Star Wolf reference with both his design and his name. He just wants to race so he can win prize money for the orphan children of his war-torn planet. But his card stats are the absolute worst in the game, so he never wins. Diabolical. This game has so much love, it's impressive, and it just makes it so much more heartbreaking that Nintendo seems hell-bent on never making a new one. This game is great, but there's obviously a lot that can be improved. Add online play, make the option to have the full 30 racers in split-screen co-op, fix the grinding that it takes to unlock racers and chapters of the story mode. It's insanity. They said they just thought there was nowhere left for the franchise to go, but looking at the possibilities, it just seems mind-boggling to look at the concept of racing at insane speeds in a galactic sci-fi setting and say, there's nothing more we can do. F-Zero GX is a damn good game and deserves all the love that it gets. I truly hope that one day we get a new F-Zero because this game is older than me. 5 stars. Hi, hello guys, hi, well, thank you for, watching this video that, it was really important, it's very long, thank you for getting to the end of this, but, I have one last thing that I want from you, just hear me out, don't click off yet, a lot of the time, I get comments that are like, wow, you're so underrated, you really deserve more subs, and, that's a big problem. People on this website do not get the credit that they deserve, which, you know, if you want to help out with that, allow me to, you know, offer up a suggestion of you liking the video, subscribing, and most importantly, sharing the video with, you know, people. Just say like, hey, check out this. This is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool video. Because that's how you get fucking people to see the video. Like, this, like the algorithm's not gonna do stuff. Just like mouth to mouth is huge. Like, that's super underrated part of YouTube. So, you know, just help a boy out. You know, I got a lot more where this is coming. This was about like what, 40 minutes? That was really long, but I got like another 2.5 hours pretty much. This script's 35,000 words. That's a lot of words, my guy. Holy shit. So, you know, thank you for watching. We'll be here soon. Just, you know, share the stuff. Check it out. Yeah. The Melee video shouldn't take that long since it's only like a couple series, but you know, that pesky real world stuff is getting in the way, so we'll see. Yeah, thank you. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, fine people of Earth.